Welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be kind of exploring a new perspective on how we see ourselves, literally and symbolically.
Okay.
And we're talking art therapy and eating disorders.
Oh, wow.
You guys sent in some really fascinating research and
Yeah.
case studies. A lot of it focused on this book, Art Therapy and Eating Disorders.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so get ready to have your minds blown a little bit because we're going to be talking about how art can actually unlock hidden truths about our bodies
Right.
and ourselves.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so compelling about this whole approach, right? It's like it takes psychological theory and it combines it with these hands-on art techniques.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, express yourself creatively. It's really about using art as a tool to understand those deep-seated anxieties and perceptions
Yeah.
that actually shape our body image, things we might not even be consciously aware of.
That's what I find so interesting about this, like bringing those unconscious thoughts and feelings to the surface. But before we get too deep into the art therapy side of things, let's just start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly is body image?
Yeah.
And why does it matter so much?
Well, I mean, body image, it's a lot more than just how you look in the mirror.
Right.
It's really about your thoughts and feelings and perceptions of your body,
Yeah.
both conscious and unconscious. The book actually makes this distinction between phenomenal body image,
Okay.
which is like those conscious perceptions,
Right.
what you see, what you think when you look at yourself,
Yeah.
and non-phenomenal body image, which is more symbolic and unconscious.
Oh, interesting.
You can kind of think of it as like the hidden script that influences how you feel in your own skin.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's what we see on the surface and then this whole other layer underneath influencing our self-perception.
Right.
But how much control do we actually have over our body image? I mean, we're constantly bombarded with images of the ideal body,
Oh, yeah.
especially through like media and advertising. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You're hitting on such a crucial point there.
Yeah.
Our body image is incredibly malleable.
Mhm.
It's shaped not just by our actual bodies, but by this complex interplay of experiences,
Right.
emotions,
Yeah.
cultural influences. The ideal body type is constantly shifting.
Yeah.
And those external pressures, they can seep into our subconscious
Yeah.
and really affect how we view ourselves.
It's almost like we're trying to fit ourselves into a mold
Right.
that's constantly changing shape.
Exactly.
No wonder so many people feel dissatisfied with their bodies.
It makes sense.
But what I find particularly interesting is how the book highlights that cultural influences can go way beyond like the typical media messages.
Right.
It mentions the impact of the September 11th attacks
Oh, wow.
on male body image,
Interesting.
leading to this shift towards a more muscular,
Oh,
like heroic ideal.
that's right. Yeah, it demonstrates how even events that seem completely unrelated to body image can actually have a profound effect on our perceptions.
Yeah.
It's like our collective understanding of what's considered desirable or attractive is constantly being reshaped by the world around us.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about the historical context.
Okay.
Has body image always been such a prominent issue? Or is this a more modern phenomenon?
I mean, while concerns about appearance have existed throughout history, it seems like the intensity and the pervasiveness of body image issues seems to have escalated in recent times.
Okay.
It's probably fueled by the rise of mass media, social media,
Right.
in a culture that often equates worth with physical appearance.
Yeah, so it's not just about individual insecurities.
Right.
It's about this larger cultural narrative that's feeding those anxieties.
Precisely.
And while a lot of the conversation around body image focuses on women,
Yeah,
it's crucial to acknowledge that men are increasingly grappling with these issues as well.
for sure.
The book briefly mentions the Adonis complex, which describes a range of body image problems specific to men, like compulsive weightlifting, body dysmorphia,
Right.
and steroid abuse.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's this unspoken pressure on men to achieve a certain level of muscularity
Right.
and physical perfection,
Yeah.
which can be just as damaging as the pressures women face.
Oh, absolutely.
But for today's deep dive, we'll be primarily focusing on the source material provided, which delves into women's experiences,
Okay.
though it seems like many of the insights and principles we're discussing could apply broadly.
Absolutely. Regardless of gender, the underlying mechanisms of body image and self-perception are remarkably similar.
Yeah.
And that's where art therapy comes in
Okay.
as this powerful tool for exploring those hidden depths,
Right.
offering a way to communicate what words often cannot.
Yes. Let's talk about art therapy.
Okay.
This idea of using art as a window to the unconscious.
I like that.
The book makes it clear that this is not just about, like, expressing yourself creatively.
All right.
This is a legitimate therapeutic approach.
Exactly. Art therapy, it goes beyond traditional talk therapy, right?
Yeah.
It allows us to access those nonverbal realms
Right.
of our experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes words are simply inadequate to express the complexity of our emotions, particularly when it comes to something as personal and deeply felt as body image.
Right.
So art provides a different language,
Yeah.
a symbolic language,
Yeah.
that can tap into those unconscious beliefs and perceptions that shape how we see ourselves.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's like art provides a way to bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
I'm also fascinated by the book's concept of solar dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a bit? It sounds incredibly poetic.
It is. Think about it. Just like our nighttime dreams, they're filled with symbolism, hidden meanings.
Yeah.
Our art creations can also reveal these unconscious messages about our inner world.
Oh.
You know, the book refers to these as solar dreams,
Okay.
the waking dreams that we create through art. And art therapy helps us understand those messages, even if they don't immediately make sense on a conscious level.
So it's not just about creating pretty pictures. It's about deciphering
Yes.
those symbolic messages.
Yes.
Much like a therapist might help someone interpret their dreams.
Precisely. And to do this effectively, the book introduces a specific method for using art therapy to understand and manage eating disorders. It's called the PNBIT method. Phenomenal and non-phenomenal body image tasks.
Okay.
This approach combines both those conscious perceptions of our bodies with the deeper, more symbolic explorations.
Yeah.
It offers a more holistic understanding of someone's relationship with their body.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What exactly are these phenomenal and non-phenomenal tasks?
Right.
How do they work together to create this deeper understanding?
Well, on the phenomenal side,
Yeah.
you have tasks that deal with those tangible, measurable aspects of body image.
Okay.
Things like recording your weight each session, looking at yourself in a full-length mirror, even estimating your body dimensions.
Wow.
These might seem simple, but for many people struggling with eating disorders,
Right.
these can be incredibly challenging
Yeah.
and anxiety-provoking.
I can imagine it's almost like facing those fears head on,
Right.
but in a safe
Yes.
and controlled environment.
Exactly. And it's not about forcing someone to become comfortable with every aspect of their body overnight.
Right.
It's about developing a more mindful and
Yeah.
realistic awareness of their body, challenging those distorted perceptions that often fuel eating disorders.
Right.
But it's only one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
We'll get into the non-phenomenal side of things after a short break.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So we've talked about those phenomenal tasks.
Right.
Those tangible, measurable aspects of body image.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into the non-phenomenal side of things.
Okay.
What makes these tasks so unique?
Well, phenomenal tasks, kind of ground us in that concrete reality of our bodies.
Right.
And non-phenomenal tasks, they really tap into that symbolic realm.
Mm-hmm.
The language of metaphors, emotions,
Yeah.
those hidden narratives that we tell ourselves about who we are.
It's almost like we're switching from a scientific lens to a more artistic lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking for meaning beyond the measurements.
Yeah, and these tasks can get pretty creative.
Okay.
Remember the chromatic family line drawing we touched on earlier?
Yeah.
It sounds deceptively simple.
Right.
You're just drawing your family members as colored lines.
Yeah.
But the choice of colors, the thickness of the lines, even their placement on the page can reveal a lot about the dynamics within a family
Yeah.
and how someone sees their place within that system.
It's fascinating how something as simple as a line drawing
Right.
can hold so much symbolic weight.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this approach could uncover insights that traditional therapy might miss.
Absolutely. The book provides some compelling case studies that illustrate this.
Okay.
For instance, one woman, Megan, initially drew her own line very faintly,
Okay.
almost disappearing on the page.
Wow.
It was a visual representation of how she felt unseen and unheard within her family, which played a significant role in her eating disorder.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's like those unspoken dynamics are suddenly brought to light through the art.
Exactly.
What are some of the other non-phenomenal tasks involved in the PNBIT method?
Well, there's the classic house tree person drawings.
Yeah.
This technique explores how someone projects their inner world onto these seemingly neutral objects.
Okay.
Like a tiny, fragile house
Yeah.
might symbolize feelings of vulnerability, while a tree with deep roots could represent a sense of groundedness and stability.
So even without realizing it,
Right.
we're imbuing these drawings with our own emotions and experiences.
Exactly. And then you have mandalas.
Okay.
Those intricate circular designs that are often used in meditation. Yeah.
In our therapy, creating a mandala can be a way to connect with your inner world,
Okay.
exploring your emotions, your sense of self, and your place in the larger universe.
It sounds a bit abstract. How do you even begin to interpret a mandala?
It's really about looking for patterns and themes.
Okay.
Are the colors vibrant and joyful, or dark and somber?
Yeah.
Are the shapes sharp and angular, or soft and flowing?
Hmm.
The way someone uses color, shape, and symbolism can offer clues into their emotional state and how they see themselves.
So it's not about finding a right answer. It's
Okay.
more about opening up a conversation.
Yes.
Exploring what resonates with the individual.
Precisely. And then you have the self-box activity,
Oh, okay.
where individuals decorate a box inside and out with magazine cutouts.
Okay.
It's a fun and engaging way to explore self-perception, values, and aspirations.
Yeah.
The images they choose, how they arrange them, even the type of box they select can be incredibly revealing.
Right.
It's like creating a visual representation of their inner world. I can see how this would be particularly appealing to someone who might be intimidated by more traditional art forms.
Right.
It feels very accessible
Yeah.
and playful.
Exactly. And finally, we have the kinetic family clay sculptures.
Okay.
This is where things get really hands-on and potentially quite emotional.
Right.
Individuals sculpt their family members, not just focusing on physical likeness, but also trying to capture the emotional dynamics within the family unit.
I bet that can bring up a lot,
Oh, yeah.
especially for people whose eating disorders are intertwined with family dynamics.
Absolutely.
But I'm also curious about something you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
the idea of repetition.
Yes.
Why is it important to repeat these art tasks over time?
Well, repetition is key for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Firstly, it allows you to track progress.
Okay.
By revisiting a task,
Yeah.
say the house tree person drawings,
Right.
over several sessions, you can observe subtle shifts in how someone perceives themselves and their world. It's like watching their inner landscape evolve as they go through the therapeutic process.
So it's not just a one-time snapshot.
Right.
It's a way to capture those nuances of change over time.
Exactly. And secondly, repetition allows for deeper exploration.
Okay.
Each time you return to a task, new layers of meaning can emerge. You might notice details you missed before, or you might find yourself using different colors or symbols as your understanding evolves.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, uncovering new insights with each repetition.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the art itself, right?
Right.
There's also a dialogue that happens between the therapist and the individual.
Absolutely. The therapist plays a crucial role in helping the individual make connections between the art they create and the emotions, experiences, and beliefs they're grappling with.
Yeah.
It's about using the art as a springboard for deeper self-reflection and understanding.
So it's a collaborative process.
Yes.
With the therapist acting as a guide, helping the individual decipher those solar dreams we talked about.
And it's in that space between the art and the dialogue that real transformation can happen.
It's like art becomes a bridge between the inner and outer worlds,
Yeah.
giving voice to those unspoken truths that often lie at the heart of body image issues.
And speaking of those unspoken truths, the book brings these concepts to life through 5 compelling case studies.
Okay.
We've already touched on Megan's story and how the chromatic family line drawing revealed her feelings of invisibility within her family.
Right.
But each woman's journey is unique, offering a different perspective on how art therapy can facilitate healing and transformation.
I'm eager to hear more about these case studies.
Okay.
Let's dive in and see what insights we can glean from their experiences. So we've talked about the theory and the techniques, but now I'm ready to hear how this all comes together in those real-life stories.
Right.
What were some of the key themes that emerged from those case studies?
Well, one of the most striking things is how each woman used art to challenge those, deeply ingrained societal messages about body image and beauty.
Right.
It wasn't about conforming to some external ideal. It was about defining their own standards of self-worth and finding a sense of peace and acceptance within themselves.
Yeah, that resonates with me so much. It's like, we're constantly bombarded with these images of what we're supposed to look like.
Right.
And it's so easy to internalize those messages.
Oh, absolutely. Take Jessica, for example.
Okay.
Initially, she couldn't even stand to look at herself in the mirror.
Wow.
But through the art tasks, particularly the full-length mirror exercise,
Yeah.
she was able to confront those distorted perceptions
Right.
and start to see herself in a new light.
Hmm.
There's a quote from her that I found incredibly powerful. She said, "Now I know what I look like, and I don't look as bad as I thought. As a matter of fact, there are days where I think I look damn good."
It's huge.
Right?
That's such a beautiful transformation.
Yeah.
It shows how art therapy can help us shift our focus from self-criticism to self-acceptance, even self-love.
Absolutely. And for Claudia,
Yeah.
art became a way to process the grief of losing her father. She'd been stuck in this cycle of sadness and denial, but through mandalas and other art forms, she was able to tap into this sense of renewal and hope.
It's amazing how art can provide this outlet for emotions
Right.
that might be difficult to express in words.
For sure. And Heather's journey was particularly moving.
Okay.
She struggled deeply with feelings of inadequacy and insecurity about her body.
Right.
But through the art, she began to connect with her inner strength
Okay.
and creativity. One pivotal moment was when she connected with that quote from The Little Prince. "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly." It became a touchstone for her,
Right.
reminding her to see herself with compassion and understanding.
That's so powerful, the idea of seeing yourself not just with your eyes, but with your heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's Linda, who was so focused on control and perfection that she had just shut down emotionally.
Yeah.
But through the art, she was able to loosen her grip, to acknowledge her anger and vulnerability.
Right.
It even led to a reconciliation with her sister, a relationship that had been strained for years.
It's like art provided this safe space for her to express those difficult emotions and ultimately mend those broken connections.
Precisely. And what's fascinating about these case studies is that they highlight how art therapy is not just about addressing the symptoms of an eating disorder. It's about exploring the underlying emotional and psychological issues that contribute to those behaviors.
So it's a much deeper process than simply changing eating habits.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering those root causes and finding healthier ways to cope with those challenges.
Exactly. And even if you don't struggle with a full-blown eating disorder, there's so much to be gained from exploring these concepts. We all have a relationship with our bodies. And art therapy can help us understand that relationship on a deeper level,
Right.
leading to greater self-awareness and compassion.
That's so true. It's like art gives us permission to see ourselves through a different lens, a lens that celebrates our uniqueness and embraces our imperfections.
Absolutely. And you don't need to be a talented artist to benefit from this approach. It's not about creating masterpieces. It's about the process of exploration and self-discovery.
Well said. What an insightful journey this has been.
Yeah,
We've only scratched the surface of this complex and fascinating topic.
for sure.
But hopefully this deep dive is giving you, our listener, a new appreciation for the power of art to illuminate those hidden aspects of ourselves.
And as you continue to explore your own relationship with your body, remember this. Your body is not just a physical form. It's a canvas onto which you project your experiences, your emotions, and your beliefs. Art therapy offers a powerful way to explore those projections and create a more positive, authentic relationship with yourself.
And if you're feeling inspired to delve deeper into this topic, we highly recommend checking out the full book, Art Therapy and Eating Disorders. It's full of fascinating case studies, practical techniques, and even art prompts you can try on your own.
And until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep discovering those fascinating connections between art, psychology, and the human experience.
See you on the next deep dive.